All right, well, joining me now is Will Maule from Premier Christian News, and we've seen these attacks on Amy Coney Barrett ahead of her Supreme Court nomination hearings. And Will, you've talked to this group, People of Praise, which has come to the forefront now, and it's being presented as this nefarious, secretive, dangerous group that's oppressive to women. But are they that secretive? You seem to have gotten a hold of them with no problem.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the story really was a couple of weeks ago. So when there was a whole idea that the group were the inspiration behind The Handmaid's Tale, that they somehow modelled a lot of what goes on in The Handmaid's Tale, and that they use the term handmaid. So I thought, well, only way to find out is to get in touch. Got in touch with them thinking I was going to be met with a stonewall reply, and within a couple of minutes, honestly, they'd got back to me and honestly were, I think, pretty happy to at least be given their side of the story. It was very clear that they're just a group of Christians. They're a group of charismatic Catholic Christians. They would be quite conservative, but the whole idea that they inspired The Handmaid's Tale is complete nonsense. It's got no basis whatsoever. So that was really what I was confirming with them.
Yeah, and they do admit to using the term handmaid. Again, the press is like latched onto that this is some sort of oppressive thing, but they gave you an answer as to what the actual inspiration for using that phrase was.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it has absolutely no connotation with the term handmaid that's used in the novel, and then obviously more latterly in the TV series. It's actually a term of honor. It's a term to describe women leaders, so leaders in the group. And it's also a reference to how Mary, mother of Jesus, described herself as a handmaid of the Lord in, I think it's Luke 1:38. And so they just outline that to us. And obviously, it's a complete world away from what's portrayed in The Handmaid's Tale as to what that term means, but you don't see any of that in the media. You just don't see any of those nuances explained. It's just, oh my goodness, Amy Coney Barrett, Handmaid's Tale, she was called a handmaid, which is obviously now the story that's just come out. And so what does this mean for the US? It's right. That's nonsense.
And secret group and all of the rest. And it's interesting here. What we're seeing, Will, is this video, and this is from the People of Praise website. And this is them putting a school they intentionally seem to move in, or at least open these schools in impoverished neighborhoods with the intention of helping these neighborhoods and assisting them. And that seems like a really noble thing, but yet this group is being painted just because people don't know a lot about it. I think there's only less than 2,000 people, at least according to their website, that are in this group. But when you look at some of the things that their organization is known for, or at least their mission statement, it's sharing their resources with one another, it's making meals, it's fellowshipping, it's preaching the gospel, all these things that are just, it seems like they would be good things, especially even people on the left that tend to promote ideas like Marxist ideas of sharing everything and spreading the wealth. You'd think they'd praise this, but it seems like they'd rather just make it sound nefarious and scary.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing how they have responded graciously, at least to me, in that they just go back to what they believe. They love doing fellowship together. They love Jesus, but the whole idea that there's some sort of cult-like, shadowy group that have got this sort of patriarchal system which is oppressive towards women. I mean, the mere fact that they use the term handmaid to describe women leaders, they raise up women as leaders. If Amy Coney Barrett is a member, she's been raised up to the highest court in the land. I mean, what a success story, and also what a testament then to a group that's being told that they are oppressing women, that they're pushing them down, that they're not allowing them opportunity. I mean, what a way to completely rubbish that theory and say, well, look where she's got to if she really has been so damaged by this group and being a part of it. It doesn't make sense, and that's the reality of the whole story. It doesn't make sense what they're portraying. It's very contradictory, and actually it only takes one phone call to the group and get them to describe what they do. and it's very simple. They're just a Christian group
Yeah.
ministering to people, and they believe in Jesus, and that's all it is.
Yeah, and that's amazing. I mean, because you had no, I mean, you mentioned it, but you didn't have any trouble at all getting a hold of them. And when you read the press, it sure seems like they just have just grabbed a couple of the paragraphs that they think that they can make sound, bad or scary or something like that. And instead of just actually reaching out and talking to this group, it's I mean, you didn't have much trouble at all, right? I mean, you said they picked right up. I mean, it wasn't like you had to go on some crazy witch hunt to find them, right?
No, it was like one email, just, and he's quite happy to explain,
I bet, yeah.
exactly what they do. And obviously when pushed on the handmaid thing, very clear what it means. And then the reality that they had to drop the term as soon as the novel became popularized, and particularly now with the TV show, because it took on completely different connotations to what they intend it to mean. So, wise to drop the term at that point, but there's certainly nothing to hide from that point of view, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly doesn't seem like it at all. And what can we expect, Will, do you think, to see going forward from Amy Coney Barrett? Because she hasn't really responded to any of this, and we know she's going to be in a hearing. And so, you just got to wonder, these attacks seem so ridiculous. And, for people who are trying to, I mean, clearly there's a lot of political motivations going on with the nomination at hand here, in an empty seat and a vacant seat that they've got to fill. Have we seen any indication about what Amy Coney Barrett is going to say about this?
No, I mean, like you said, she's been very quiet about it. But apparently that's kind of the way in which she interacts with the media anyway. She lives very privately. She doesn't make any public comments, which, as a neutral judge, someone who's meant to be interpreting the Constitution, ruling fairly, you can see that someone of that character and of that rationale might just say to the media, do you know what, this is sensationalized a lot of the time. You're probably going to misconstrue my comments. We'll leave it. I guess, when you look at what happened in 2017, her confirmation hearing to the appeals court, that was serious. There was a lot of questioning about her faith. There was that whole "the dogma lives loudly" comment. Yes. So can we expect more of that? Yeah, I imagine we can. I think that's what a lot of this media coverage is ramping up to. It gives, different politicians a real footing to go, oh, well, I picked up on this, and this could be a big thing in terms of the way in which you function on the court. The reality is, it's a nothing story. She's a believer. She's a Christian. Yes, she will hold certain values and things to be true. What's wrong with that? To be questioned and picked apart, which we're now anticipating is likely going to happen in those hearings. It's deeply unfair, but I've no doubt, like we saw in 2017, that she'll respond graciously, and she will just hold true to the line, hold true to what she believes, and I think she'll get through it. But yeah, I mean, there's no doubt it will be. It's pretty going to be pretty cringeworthy and painful to watch, I imagine.
Well, yeah, and it's like this. It's like, rinse, wash, repeat. It's the same. The leftist media, the secular media. They just don't understand what Christians believe, and they see the word submissive in the Bible, and then just immediately reflex at it, recoil at it, and think it's some horrible thing where Christians are just beating women down, and which of course isn't the spirit of that at all. But nevertheless, we're gonna have to deal with these misrepresentations, and I'm sure Amy Coney Barrett is gonna acquit herself just fine in this hearing. That's all indications are. I know her friends from college have said that they're kind of chomping at the bit to see this thing go down, because they know how smart she is and how talented she is. So this certainly will be interesting to watch. But Will Maule, thank you for bringing the truth on the people of praise that the rest of the media apparently couldn't find. It's just all of these crazy rumors just debunked with one phone call and one email. So good stuff. And thanks for breaking it down.
No problem. Thank you.